Okay. A 10-pointer with a 20-inch spread, Iron County, second day of the season. Joanne, tell me about it.
He was looking for a female, and he found one.
Well, I tell you, we all found lots of female hunters, good hunters, at our Trost Trophy Awards Banquet this past Saturday night at Roma's of Livonia. 800 people showed up. I'm sorry you couldn't be there, but we're going to bring highlights your way. I'm Fred Trost. It's Thursday night, time for Michigan Outdoors. Our 5th annual Stroh's Hunting Awards Banquet was attended by 800 sportsmen and their families last Saturday night at Roma's of Livonia. After a great meal of flaming round of beef, chicken, salad, and dessert, the group settled in for an evening's program unlike any you can find. Tonight, we honored the hunters who bagged the biggest bucks, the biggest elk, and the biggest turkeys of 1985. Individual antlers were displayed on tables, the full-mounted heads on backdrops for everyone to see. It was quite a display in itself, over 115 trophies that were all impressive. Now, while white-tailed deer are the most popular big game animal in the country, wild turkeys aren't far behind in many states. Our Michigan season is in the spring. Last year, 15,000 turkey hunters drew permits and took an estimated 2,000 gobblers. Now, only the males, the gobblers or toms, are legal for hunting. The hens are protected. You can tell the toms by their beards, those long hair-like brooms hanging from their breasts. Now, long beards like this 11 3/8 inch beard taken by Darrell Bartos from Muskegon are real trophies. This tom weighed 21 pounds. Hunters have all kinds of ways of displaying their turkey beards and feathers short of full mounts that take up a lot of room. Brian Bean mounted his on a board. And here's an unusual tom. It has 2 beards, and the way these are scored, according to some, is to add the length of the 2 together. That's how Pat Sancho made the 9-inch minimum. Turns out to be 11.5 inches. You got this where?
Just south of Oscoda.
Oscoda, east side of the state.
Right.
Is this your first turkey?
No, this is my second in 3 years.
Wow. You must be some hunter.
It took 3 days to finally track him down.
Did you call him yourself?
No.
Did you call?
No, they weren't answering to the call. He already had his hen with him. He wasn't looking for nothing else.
I'll be darned. What a story. A double-bearded turkey totals up to be the longest beard that we found of 1985, 11.5 inches. Pat Sancho from Adrian. Congratulations, Pat. Muzzle-loading hunters had their own category, and while none were entered for turkeys or elk, we did have a number of muzzle-loaders enter whitetail bucks this year. The DNR estimates 5,000 hunters took deer with front stuffers, but not many took 10-pointers or up on the special December 6th to the December 15th season. Many muzzle-loaders enjoy their primitive weapons so much that they use them during the regular firearm season. Daniel Campo from Linden did, and took a 10-pointer on November 20th. And here's the biggest muzzle-loader buck. Phyllis Brenningstall. Phyllis's 10-pointer had an 18-inch spread, taken in Livingston County on December 14th. Phyllis is from Fowlerville, and her son took a trophy with a shotgun that came up later in the program. But Phyllis was tops, right at the top of the heap in the muzzleloader category. Phyllis Brenningstall, congratulations on that buck. Right off this way, Phyllis. Muzzleloading can be a tough way to bag a buck, but so can hunting with a big-bore handgun. Now, this year, thanks to the efforts of Representative Jerry Bartnick and other pro-sportsman legislators, a bill was passed allowing certain big-bore handguns that are comparable with shotguns and ballistics to be used in southern Michigan during the firearm deer season. But handguns are a tough way to go. The kick on short-barreled guns is more pronounced, and it's easy to develop a flinch. But hunters who don't, it can be deadly. You got this on the 15th of November, Alger County up in the UP.
That's right. I got it about 4.5 miles away from my house.
Oh, you live in the UP? You came all the way down here?
Yes, I did.
Terrific. Hold that buck up there. Gary Hopp from Scandia with his 10-point from Alger County. Then we had Richard Melbourne from Potterville, who bagged a trophy near Oscoda. You were hunting up in Oscoda County?
Yep. Up by Lewiston, just south of Lewiston.
And let's see, you are a handgun silhouette shooter.
Yes, sir.
How many people in this room shoot handgun silhouette? Silhouette shooters who practice have an edge, which you need to take a buck like this. Well, congratulations, Rich Milborn, the biggest buck with a handgun that we got
entered in here. 10-pointer. He's somebody.
Another challenging way to take big game is with a bow. We only had entries in the whitetail category of bucks 10 points and higher. Now, these little bucks would not have made our big buck night. The DNR estimates that some 210,000 bow hunters last season took 39,000 deer, about 16,000 bucks, and very few had racks 10 points and up. But even a buck like this is a real trophy, and with my scoring system, I try to help more people qualify. Remember, this is all in fun.
How many points does it have?
12.
12. Okay, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Here's the difference in the way you'd score it and the way I score it. See all these things around the burr? You have an 18-point buck. Congratulations. In my book. That's my kind of buck. Mickey Alvarado from Adrian.
In the Stroh's Hunting Awards system, we won a lot of hunters to qualify. Jerry Upsall made it easily with this 13-point, 17-inch spread taken in Washtenaw County. And from Ann Arbor, Simon Lothamer took a 13-point with a 21-inch spread with a bow. And John Moore's 13-point had tines 11 inches long, a big buck from Brighton. But our biggest deer with a bow came from Jackson, 14 points.
How about that? Sean Sirk. Hold it up there, Sean. Turn it from side to side so we can see that rack. From Cement City, got that down around Jackson. Congratulations. Thank you.
Sean's deer weighed 254 pounds, not as big as many of the northern deer taken during the rifle season. In the rifle zone of the north, an estimated 500,000 hunters took 112,000 deer, 86,000 of them bucks, while shotgun hunters in the south took a record 50,000 deer this past season. Surprised me how many big bucks came from the UP. A lot more than usual, but hunters up there said they didn't see as many as the southern Michigan hunters saw. Here's a common sight, a doe that spooked, bristling her white tail and rump. She heard or smelled us in the blind. That's not the way you're going to bag a trophy.
From Mansalona, this is the largest deer that we have here, taken with a rifle. Ontonagon, once again, 178 pounds, 9-inch tines. 19th of November. That must have been a good day. I think.
Randy Latow from Mansalona took the biggest buck with a rifle on opening day. He's a good hunter, and a lot of good hunters, we learned, were successful because they hunted all day long.
Well, I vowed I was going to stay in my blind until I got him, and I did, all day.
And for some hunters, luck was long overdue.
15
years. 15 years, his first deer. I think it's time he broke in with a big buck. Darrell Frick, congratulations. Boy, that's a nice deer. 12-inch tines.
Darrell Frick from Lapeer showed the value of persistence. Now, here's an eye catcher in a group of predominantly male deer hunters.
I guess I don't have to say, look at this. I mean...
Patricia Wasselina from Leonard can out-hunt a lot of men. In fact, quite a few women can. And when they told their stories, believe me, they got right to the point.
A 10-pointer with a 20-inch spread, Iron County, second day of the season. Joanne, tell me about it.
He was looking for a female, and he found one.
Oh, how about that? He sure did. You a veteran deer hunter, Joanne?
21 years.
And how many deer?
This is my fourth.
Fourth?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happened those other years? You sleeping in or what?
Having children. There's only 8 of them.
8 children? Boy, I tell you, I bet this one went down in one meal.
That's the father.
Right there? Mm-hmm. Is he a pretty good hunter?
Every year he gets one. But this is the biggest we got.
How about that? Isn't that nice? She says every year he gets one, and this is the biggest we've got. That's
well, he dragged it.
He dragged it, so he gets partial credit. Great story, Joanne Zielinski. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Bet she's going to be getting some bucks in the future. She's got the hang of it now.
Everybody enjoyed the stories we heard during the evening, including our list of dignitaries, Dr. Ron Skoog, DNR Director right there, also Ed Mikula, Wildlife Division Chief, Kerry Kammer from the DNR Commission, Ed Bedwell from Stroh's, and Representative Jerry Bartnick from Monroe. And finally, the biggest of Michigan's big game, elk. Our 1985 season saw 119 hunters bag elk. 30 of them had bull permits, and we had 10 of the biggest bulls here at the banquet. A DNR census shows more elk right now in Michigan than we had last year at this time after the 1984 hunt.
We did get the elk season going again, and it's fully our intent to have a season on elk every year. We want to make this a major trophy-type animal in the state, and we're very anxious that we succeed in that and get the population up. So I'm very pleased to participate in this.
Okay, well, DNR Director Ron Skoog, a very welcome guest to our banquet. He and all the guests got a close-up look at the trophy elk antlers, trophies that rival any place in North America. Here's Fred Roberts from Taylor with his 14-point. The bull weighed in at 616 pounds. And the elk hunters, by the way, said the meat was delicious. In fact, most hunters with a big trophy deer said the meat was tender.
Boy, that is a beautiful rack.
This is the new state record for 1985, and it finished in the top 15 in the world for 85.
Top 15 in the world right here. Ralph Savage from Wyandotte. Congratulations, Ralph.
Michigan can be proud of its big elk, big deer, and big turkeys. The hunters that drew permits for elk, like Bernard Riley from Wademan, he took a 664-pound 15-point. I'm so glad he came to the banquet to share his trophy with us, and thanks to everyone who shared. The women, like Cynthia Smythe has from Plymouth. Her first time hunting, coached by her husband, she got a 10-point bull. And the crowd loved them all, especially John Badash from Detroit.
Hello there, John. This one also is a 14-pointer. Is this a 7x7?
7x7, perfect.
A perfect 7x7, I might add. Montmorency County. John, you're from Detroit?
Yes, sir.
Have you hunted a lot in your lifetime?
62 years.
62 years of hunting?
Right.
Wow.
I'm 82.
You're 82 years old?
I was 82 November 11.
Outstanding. Is this you're getting a standing ovation here from the crowd. 82-year-old man who's been hunting for 62 years. Was this the biggest thrill of your hunting experience?
This one here, and when I married my wife.
Say that for the camera. The biggest thrill.
The biggest thrill I ever had of getting this and marrying my dear wife.
All right.
A big thanks to John, all the wives, the hunters, and the people who made the 1986 Stroh's Hunting Award banquets the best we've ever had.
Which animal requires more sleep time, an opossum or a deer? Sleep time in the animal world is affected by the creature's danger factor. Animals with few natural enemies, like the opossum and bat, snooze up to 20 hours a day. Those with many predators, like the small roe deer, doze as little as 2.5 hours a night.
This is Michigan's largest fish species, the lake sturgeon. State record, 192 pounds. Minimum length you can keep is 50 inches, slightly over 4 feet. They're not an easy fish to catch because they eat plankton, feed on the bottom, so most of the winter activity is through shanties, spearing. You'll see this huge 22-foot shanty on Black Lake near Sheboygan, owned by the Archambault family. Black Lake is the most productive lake for sturgeon spearing, followed by Mullet and Burt Lakes. Spearing is only open during the month of February. Fishing for sturgeon with hook and line in inland lakes is only permitted in January and February. But the February spearing gathers all the attention. Clarence Archambault has hosted Bob Garner and myself several times in his shanties. Now, we never saw any sturgeon. They're pretty tough to come by. But Clarence has taken some videotape with his home recorder that we were able to salvage, and it shows some very exciting moments.
There's one, Gil. Just to the right of the decoy. Just right on bottom. Right to the right of the decoy.
There it is. Okay.
Ooh, man, I don't know. I think you missed him. I think you missed, huh?
No, he's on there.
Huh?
He's on there.
You sure?
Yeah, I got something on there. Hey, Red! Red! Bring your gas book over. Red's gonna...
Okay.
You see it yet?
Yeah, I can't see the fish. You got him? You sure you got him in the way?
Yeah, he's on there. Starting to twitch.
Oh, I just barely see it. Just the tail, just a little. Oh, I see it now, but just barely underneath the decoys.
Start fighting. Got one?
Yeah. Hurry up.
He's coming in.
Wait.
Big one?
No.
He ain't really...
Oh, now I can see him. Now I can see him.
He's a nice one. He's a good one.
See if you can get him out in the center of the hole more. Like,
Pretty good.
huh?
Yeah, you got pretty good, I think.
You got him pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess so.
I think you hit him in the backbone. Paralyzed him, I think.
A sturgeon always gathers a crowd, but never in the shanty. In fact, there's no room for the cameraman when a sturgeon is pulled through. You can imagine what a 5 or 6 foot fish is like on the ice, thrashing, jumping, swinging its tail. And in a small shanty, it's a real experience for the fishermen who are right there. This big female easily makes the 50-inch minimum. Friday, February 28th is the last day of the season in inland lakes. But it's been a good season, a fun season for those who tried it in Michigan outdoors. This recipe doesn't look, smell, or especially taste like the run-of-the-mill fish bake recipe.
Definitely not.
Jean Pazlaski wrote a book called You've Got One Now What. She lives up on the east side with Charter Captain Steve Pazlaski. All her recipes are good.
Everyone. I've never found one of hers I didn't like.
This one is not good.
It's excellent.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. And it does have almost an unlikely combination of ingredients,
It does.
Kathy.
It's got sour cream and mushroom soup. Now, a lot of times you'll see one or the other, but not both. 2 cans of mushrooms, paprika, salt, and pepper. And just like she says, it's easy-baked fish. Parsley. Now, I use fresh parsley. You can use the chopped flakes if you want. Can we trim the fish just a little bit here?
Oh, yeah. We've saved this salmon. We probably caught this with Captain Pete off Ludington. And that dark lateral line needs to be trimmed off.
Sure does.
And any freezer burn or anything, which we did have some.
You want to lay your fillets in a greased casserole dish, and I greased ours with butter. You'd use margarine or shortening, whatever you want to use. And you dot the fillets with butter pats. Just lay them on there, a few of them. That's so it doesn't dry out. It won't, because you are going to bake this first without the topping.
That's interesting, the way this is done.
Yep. A little bit of salt and pepper. A little bit more pepper than salt, I suppose, huh?
Well, for me.
Yeah. Some paprika. It's ground paprika here. Just.
It has a little, I was smelling it and tasting it. It is a little bit like cayenne pepper.
It is.
A tiny bit.
You smell cayenne and sweet pepper in it. Okay, and we got chopped parsley. I think there is a taste difference in chopped and dried.
Now, you can taste that
Especially-
parsley, can't
you
you, Bob?
sure
Just a
can.
little bit, and the pepper. You can taste these things in this recipe.
Individually,
You
right.
taste a lot of that stuff in the recipe.
Okay, now we're going to bake this for a half hour, just as is. Now, to me, that looks good just like that.
Oh,
when it came out of the oven, you could eat it just as it was, just like that. And now we're going to make 8 ounces of sour cream with a can of mushroom soup. Like you say, a lot of recipes you see one or the other, but not both. And this makes a real creamy sauce. 2 cans of mushrooms.
I'll tell you what. Right there, what you're mixing up, OJ and I, while we were taping this, we tasted it. That would be a great dip.
Yes, it would.
It really would.
Yeah, just like that.
And here comes the half-baked.
That's right.
Which is really...
Now, see, to me, that looks just delicious, just like that.
And smelled delicious.
It was.
Tastes delicious.
Yep.
But
And now we're going to add the sauce to it.
Or chip dip. Serve it alongside. It's chip dip.
Just pour this on. And then this is going to bake for another half hour with this on there. And that's...
I'll tell you, it didn't ruin it by any stretch of the imagination. And this, you can take a look at here. At the meat inside here is moist, and the mushrooms, those chunks of mushrooms, sour cream.
Yep.
Well, what do you think, Bob? You scarfed down a huge pile.
That insert was 2 minutes long, and it took me 2
Doesn't like a lot of fish, but he liked this recipe.
Like this one. A great one, Bob. The people are chomping at the bit. They ought to find out how they can get a copy.